Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jordan from roadtofulltime.com, and welcome to the second podcast, or is this the third? I think it's the third podcast, but this one's really not going to be like a traditional podcast that I've kind of put out the past two times, because I'm just going to tell you a little story. Think of this as a story time podcast in a way, and what I'm going to go with here is something that's happened recently. Now, I wrote about this on the blog over at roadtofulltime.com. But I'm going to kind of tell you in my own words, verbally, what happened, and it's a really, really cool thing. And so there's a lesson behind this, and by no means am I like a social media guru or anything like that. I'm just basically going to tell you the simple thing that I did, the simple Instagram post that I put out, and what kind of came about it. So what it basically started out as was I'm kind of looking at the post now just to make sure I got all the hashtags and stuff like that I put out there. But what it basically started out as is one morning, one weekday morning or something like that. I had to go to the store, and so I went to the grocery store down the road from me. And I personally am a real estate photographer. That's kind of what I deal with. So you know how when you walk into a store, they always have those magazines for like apartment rentals or moving to the area, relocation guides, stuff like that. So I walked into the store and I saw those, and I was like, I got to remember to get one of those on my way out to see if I could, kind of flip through those a little bit and see if I can find some bad real estate photos in the magazine. I'm sure there were. Find some really bad real estate photos in the magazine, so maybe I can email those realtors and say, hey, I noticed you have a listing, and maybe I can take the photo for you, take some photos of your listing for you so you can have some better photos, something like that. Just kind of like an outreach, kind of guerrilla marketing sort of thing. So on my way out, I grabbed a magazine, and in this particular area, I live in a kind of a triad area where it has three big cities around there. So the magazine I picked up was the Triad New Home Guide. So for those of you who happen to be living around North Carolina, Greensboro, somewhere around there, you know that the Triad's kind of the central area. So I grabbed that magazine, had a really nice cover photo on it, so I was like, hey, I'll just go ahead and grab this one. So when I got home, I made some coffee, and I came up to my office to start working. And so I was drinking my coffee, and I saw the magazine sitting on my desk, and I haven't really flipped through it yet. But as sort of like a marketing thing, I was like, hey, why don't I just take a photo with it and have my coffee in there, just kind of stage it a little bit, do like a small little staging thing. No major photo, not grabbing my big DSLR and posing it just right and getting flash out or anything like that. No, I just basically got my phone, and I put the magazine on my desk, and I got my coffee cup, put it right next to the magazine, and took a simple photo. And I'm looking at the listing right here, or the actual Instagram post. And just in the small description, I put a little bit of research this morning with my coffee, and then I always kind of put some simple little emojis like a camera icon and a coffee icon for this particular Instagram post. And I put a hashtag. I put a lot of hashtags on it, but one of them that was in the description was hashtag coffee time. Just a fun little thing. But the hashtags that I put on there are hashtags that I've developed after having a mini consultation. For those of you who are part of the Road to Full Time members group, we have one of our members, Odds. He's a really awesome guy. He kind of picked three guys and looked at their Instagram accounts and kind of gave them a small little audit. He's really good at that stuff. So he got a small little audit, and one of them was mine, and he said, hey, throw a bunch of hashtags in there, maximize the hashtags, make them relevant, don't make them really popular hashtags, but also, this is one thing that I never really did, but make sure you tag people, you tag people in posts. So, if you have businesses in your area that you want to definitely want to work with, tag them in your post so they always see it. So most of the time they're going to have an Instagram account, so tag them in there. It's not going to hurt their feelings or anything like that, but make sure you do that. So what I did was, before I posted, I looked at the Triad New Home Guide Instagram account, And I was kind of like, oh darn it. I finally found their Instagram account after doing a lot of research, going to their website, trying to find it. But they only had 2 photos, and I think they were like 2 years old. So there really wasn't a whole lot of activity on it. And one of the photos, especially, was like a renovating or moving into a new office sort of thing. So it really wasn't a social media heavy account. But I went ahead and I tagged him in it anyway, just to see if I would get any feedback on that. At the most, I thought I'd at least get a like on a photo, maybe a thumbs up or something like that, and maybe on the off chance they would hire me if they needed any services going forward, or they would talk to realtors and say, "Hey, this guy," that kind of word of mouth thing. So word of mouth. There he is. That's one thing that I thought that would really happen. So I didn't think of much with it. So after I posted that account, or posted that to my account, I put a whole bunch of hashtags out there, and I use a lot of the same hashtags, but some of them I kind of gear towards whatever specific post. So obviously for mine, I do real estate, which is a really big hashtag, but still I do real estate, realtor, blah, 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 blah. You don't really need to know all of them. But then I hashtag the city, the magazine, even though I tagged them just in case, and a whole bunch of other relevant hashtags. So I maxed out at the 30, and there was a couple engagements on the post. There's only 54 likes on the post right now currently, but you can probably hear my computer going off in the background. But it was a decent one. It was a decent post. So probably about a week after that post, I got a message from Triad New Home Guide. So because I tagged them in it, and they saw it apparently, and they said, "Love this. Mind if we repost?" And they tagged me in it as well. And obviously, I wrote back and I said, "Of course, glad I could help with that, do all that stuff." Yeah. So yeah, I posted it. I just posted it. I just saw the post, the comment right below it. So yeah, I said, "Yeah, not at all. That's great." So that was even more than I was asking for. I thought I was going to get a like. So they reposted it, or they didn't actually repost it, but they said they were going to. To this day, they still haven't reposted it. So that's kind of weird, especially knowing what happens later, which I'm about to tell you. And so then a week later, probably a week after they said they were going to repost it, I got this call. And so this guy called, and he left a voicemail on my business line, and he said, "Hey, just wanted to see if I could talk to you. If you have a moment, give me a call back," or something like that. And it didn't actually say. Now that I'm remembering it, didn't actually say where he was calling from. He just said, "Hi, my name is," and he gave his name, and then he said, "I wonder if you can give me a call back, and it would be a good talking thing." So I gave him a call back probably about 30 minutes later, and we actually talked for probably about 30 to 45 minutes, somewhere around there. And it turned out that it was the owner of the Triad New Home Guide magazine. So he called me, and we kind of started talking. The way the conversation kind of started out was, I thought it was going to be something like, "Hey, do you want to advertise in our business?" or something like advertise in our magazine or something like that, because he really wanted to know about my particular business. So we kind of talked for a little bit and went back and forth, and we mentioned drones, which was a talking point that I love to talk about. I don't know a whole lot about them. I fly them and everything. I'm not a drone expert by any means. But I do know about them, and we started talking about that for a while. And he said that his company bought a Inspire 2, a DJI Inspire 2, so the big boy. They bought that, and they need a little bit of help with photographing the neighborhoods. They're doing like neighborhood tours. So you go to a neighborhood, you fly the drone around the neighborhood and get kind of a bird's eye view of it, maybe go get close to a couple houses, something like that. And so they kind of knocked out all the communities in the Greensboro area near where I live. They've knocked out a bunch of those, but I think they said they want to go back and grab better shots, because they did that with a smaller drone. Now they have the Inspire 2, and they want to go grab those shots, and it's going to be kind of a huge undertaking. So they have a pilot for the drone, but they want to have a photographer to operate the camera aspect. So in the Inspire series, I believe, I gotta turn my computer off from now on. So when they have when the Inspire is going, you can have a pilot, and then you can also have someone who operates the camera kind of independently. So you can have someone who just concentrates on flying, and then someone that concentrates on just the camera work, nothing else really. So they want to do a lot of video, and so they asked me if I would be able to help them with the camera aspect of it. So I would work with the pilot, and we would kind of coordinate together. So I would be able to effectively help with the Inspire, which I would love to own one of those, but at least if I can help with it, that'd be awesome. And he asked me my workload, if I was going to have time to help him out with that. And we just kind of had a really nice conversation. He asked more about my background. I told him I can do graphic design stuff. I've done that for a while. I definitely do photography stuff, obviously. What it turned out to be from this one small itty-bitty post on Instagram where I thought I was just going to get a like, and it was just something to put on my Instagram to keep it somewhat active, it turned out to be an opportunity to have a lot of contract work, which is fantastic. This is kind of the thing that I've been hoping for, not just with these particular people, obviously, but to have contract work where I could still go out and do my regular photography stuff, do my sleek lens stuff, have the contract work, and it's just completely steady stuff. So obviously, it's probably not the right time of year to do all this stuff, get the nice scenery. That'll probably be in the spring. So a lot of this stuff probably won't start until the spring. However, I have a meeting with them to go out and see their kind of, not headquarters, but their company, just to see them and talk with them and meet the editors, meet the video editors, the photo editors, the drone pilot, all that kind of stuff, and it's going to be kind of a really fun time. So I'm not saying all of this to like toot my own horn and say, hey, look at all the work I got. I'm saying that because of this one simple post, I have the opportunity to have very, very steady work that will be very, very beneficial not only to my particular portfolio, but the money aspect, the bottom line aspect, which is really, really great. So for those of you who kind of neglect Instagram, or not even Instagram, just social media in general, you could be particularly missing out on a lot of different and really awesome opportunities, especially if you're wanting that type of work. I thought my business was going to be just like, hey, a realtor called, come out to the house, take the photos, that's it. But now I know that, commercial properties, which is a big thing, are building up more in my portfolio. Definitely stuff like this, which is not necessarily my own work, but because I'm helping with a team. But it's a contract option, and it's a really great option. It has a little bit of flexibility with it, and I'm really looking forward to see what that particular aspect of my business grows into. So, all that being said, if you neglect social media, seriously, you will be missing out on a lot of really, really awesome things. So make sure you hit up a lot of the social media accounts. Try to keep them live as much as possible. Put stuff on there. Even, this was the only thing I think I posted that day, was that small little thing. So it's not like I have to dig through all my portfolio pieces and pull out the winners and post them on there. I just took that simple photo, and it ended up being a great, great thing. So make sure you get all up on the social media as much as you can, and it's just post one thing a day, one thing every couple days would be good, and you'll really start getting those roads, as I was talking about in the last podcast, all those roads that are just driving right to your quote unquote headquarters of your website. So I just wanted to talk that little bit of story because I think it's a great thing. This is probably the first big thing, quote unquote, big thing that's happened just by social media, no marketing, no nothing. And it's a really cool thing. Kind of opens my eyes to other things that could be just on the horizon of doing really awesome work. So hammer that social media as much as you can. It's a really beneficial thing. So thank you guys for joining me in this podcast. I know it's kind of a weird one because it's a story time podcast, but still, it's a great learning thing. I'm still learning from it, so I'm not an expert. but it's just fun, isn't it? It's just fun. So thank you guys for joining me in this podcast. Head on over to Road to Full Time. We got a lot of cool stuff on there. Trying to update at least 2 or 3 posts a week, roughly. I'm trying to get those going. So make sure you read those. And if you haven't checked out the YouTube channel, these are recorded as video podcasts as well. So if you want to see my ugly grill, go over there to the YouTube channel and check it out there. And thank you guys for joining me. I will see you guys next week in the next podcast.